Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. In the boundless starry sky, the strange claws-like spaceships drifted slowly. Under this spaceship, 3 smaller spaceships suddenly flew out. It is also the same black shape as Pure and Weird. The blue-haired Scar Taihan sat in one of the ships. Is casually chatting with 2 other companions through the ship's internal communication network. Evil Halberd, how about playing a little game? The blue-haired Scar Taihan chewed something in his mouth and said lightly, "Speak." The voice in the communicator laughed twice. This trip, the fastest plus the person with the most gains plus the other 2 will get 10% of the final share. The blue-haired scarred man's eyes twitched. They have gained a lot this time, and everyone's share is enough to buy a low-level garden star. 20%? Not a decimal and. But the blue-haired Scar Taihan just hesitated for a moment, and then quickly replied, "Yes." Another person on the communication network also replied, "I'm fine." He suggested that the person smiled, then it settled then, "If anyone doesn't recognize me, I'll send the chat frequency record to Boss Chi Tong." Heh, the blue-haired, scarred man tugged at the mouthfish in disdain, and cut off the communication at will. He tapped the spaceship on the operation panel with both hands and flew quickly in one direction. After several consecutive space jumps, a new starry sky appeared in front of the blue-haired scarred man. Where the line of sight falls plus a small blue planet is quietly floating, looking quite beautiful. The blue-haired scarred man had a smile on his face, and the smile was mixed with a trace of cruelty. Untouchables of lower civilizations, are you ready to welcome the coming of the evil adults? The blue-haired man with scars twisted his neck and made a creaking sound. Yang Yizhou himself is just like the natural breathing method he created, with a strong and unpredictable meaning. Sheng couldn't figure it out, so he simply stopped thinking about it. The thing he most wants to do now is to play chess. The great opportunity is in front of you, if you don't grasp it well, you will be a fool. Sheng pinched a star, and with a little understanding and experience, and then pinched a second star, the process immediately became much smoother. He quickly rubbed out a second star. This star is obviously more perfect, and the fire is brighter. It is already 1/10 the height of the smallest star in the Manhwa sun god domain. Then Sheng began to rub the third one. 4th. 5th. He hung the rubbed stars with the king in the darkness of the emptiness in the northern void star field that belonged to the king, and was lit up by the rays of the stars. This enterprise process does have a sense of creation. Sheng became more and more handy. Stars were rubbed out of his hands, and his understanding of the structure of stars became more and more profound. This is an indescribable creation. Because in reality, he couldn't do it anyhow. He pinched a star apart and put it in his hand to make a thin remo, and pressed it in the void to closely observe the law of its burning. The understanding of Wang Xingxing's way in his mind seemed to climb wildly like a rocket. These understandings and insights quickly filled the shallow and empty part of his martial arts. Cece's sense of solidity extended from the tomb of Sheng's heart. The stellar vein diagram I constructed before was so naive and taken for granted. I want to knock it down and rebuild a new vein map. The power may be 100 times or even 1,000 times more than before. Sheng felt that he used to be like a primary school student. Now he is making great strides towards junior high school, and university by supplementing relevant knowledge, CFA, and another star is rubbed out of Sheng's hands. This star far surpassed everything he had created before. It was the most satisfying piece of work that Sheng had so far. He held it in his hand and appreciated it carefully. The texture, veins, and rhythm in this star that can burn all make him very satisfied. Evil is not inferior to Wang He's ordinary level. At this moment, a strange wave suddenly appeared in this beautiful star, and Sheng's eyes were too large, and he was surprised to find that was a small life. The sound of a cracked shell sounded like a crack. Immediately afterwards, a small 3-legged golden crow flew out from the core of the star. In the novel it is so weak and so cute. This tiny 3-legged golden crow quickly circled around the edge of the star, gulping down the infinite light and heat emanating from the star. It soon grew some breath and became stable, and the flames and feathers on its body became more golden and brighter. It flew to Lu Sheng, stood on his finger, and made a yaw sound, and gently rubbed his beautiful head against Lu Sheng's fingertips, showing a kissing state. Share this joy with Yang Zhou. Yang Zhou looked at him with a smile, and said leisurely, martial arts, isn't it more interesting than you thought? Yes. Lu Sheng almost blurted out the two treasures teacher. On his way, there has never been anyone in the martial arts who taught him so earnestly and perseveringly as he did now. He was all alone. No one talks about hardships, no one shares joys. Now Yang Zhou gave him this kind of mentor feeling and unexpectedly felt very good. I can try something else. Yang Zhou lightly pointed to the west side of the void chessboard. Lu Sheng followed and looked over, and the light fell on Duanifeng's crystal god realm. His eyes lit up slightly. Yes, I should try something else. Lu Sheng gently shook the little golden crow out of his hand and then stretched it out to grab Duanifeng's crystal god realm. Duanifeng felt it and gave him a warning. Lu Sheng immediately retracted his hand and glanced at Yang Zhou. Yang Zhou was calm, and waved his hand at will. Take it as much as you want. Lu Sheng laughed and was too bold, so he picked a pretty crystal planet from the crystal god realm and held it in his hand to play with it. Lu Sheng has almost seen through the relationship between these three people. Wang He and Duanifeng are of equal status, while Yang Zhou is more aloof. Both Wang He and Duanifeng mentioned the lord of the one-day Lan Star region. Lu Sheng guessed that the owner of the Tianlan Star territory was Yang Zhou. Yang Zhou said he was only half right. What is the remaining half? No matter what it is, Yang Zhou must have a close relationship with the master of the Tianlan starfield. He should be the one with the real background, plus Wang He and Duanifeng are more like climbing up from the bottom step by step. Otherwise, Lu Sheng would not believe it. On a small planet, 3 characters above the 5th rank can be born in one breath. If it is said that there are seniors who can help, that Yuha and Duanifeng later reached the height of the 5th grade can explain it. Anyway, the truth is so close to me now that I don't have to bother to guess, just wait for them to reveal it to me step by step. Lu Sheng calmed down and focused all his energy on the crystal planet in front of him. Wang He and Duanifeng have inherited the Taoism, the foundation has been laid long ago, and it becomes quite simple to accept it later. Lu Sheng smashed the crystal planet in his hand and studied it carefully for a long time. Feeling about the same, I started to try to pinch it out myself. Azure Star, 2 people, one big and one small, at the top of a mountain somewhere in the Lion Kingdom are standing on the platform at the top of the mountain. It is a father and son, who are similar in appearance, both with tall nose bridges and pale blonde hair. Among them, the boy in his teens was practicing body exercises, and the man beside him was cheering him on. Come on Albert, keep doing it again, success is beckoning to you. The boy gritted his teeth and struggled to finish the last set of movements, and then he slumped to the ground. Just finished exercising and can't lie on the floor. The man walked over plus helped the little boy to get up from the ground. His white face was full of sweat and a little pale, but his eyes were bright and happy. The effect of these actions is so good. It's much better than the one you gave me before. I think I will pass the entrance exam for Luding Budo Elementary School next month. The man nodded with emotion and said, yes, not only you, but I can also feel a huge improvement during practice. The effect is far better than the Japanese version of body refinement. The boy wiped the sweat from his forehead and said, Father, I heard that these movements originated from the Dragon Kingdom, is it true? The man nodded and said, this body refinement technique is called the War God's Body Refinement Technique and was created by the God of War of the Dragon Kingdom. In the Dragon Country, we have begun to try to fully promote and completely replace the old version of body refinement. In other words, everyone in the Dragon Country can learn the full set of movements of this body refining technique for free? The boy opened his eyes too much. Yes, we lions want to learn, we can only buy it with money, and there is no complete set. And the former Dragon Kingdom only opened a few buying channels for actions. The man stopped thinking and followed the boy's fingers and turned to look. Looking at this, he was completely stunned. Stone novel. Directly above the city, a black spaceship with a diameter of several kilometers is hovering quietly. The shape of the spaceship is pure and strange. Different from the aesthetics of any country and nation on the planet of Jade, the eyes are full of futuristic and technological sense. This picture that only existed in the sci-fi insect shadow suddenly appeared in front of him, and it was no wonder that the man wanted to hold it. The boy was quite excited and jumped up in place. Bao Zhou's spacecraft. It turns out that there really is an alien father in this world, and the descriptions in the sci-fi bug shadow are all true. The man opened his mouth and didn't know how to explain it to his son. Looking forward from his position, you can clearly see that because of the appearance of the spaceship, the entire city in the distance has begun to riot. The traffic stopped and countless people came out of the room and the car. Everyone was picking up their heads and looking up at the black spaceship above their heads. Countless people took out the camera of the King machine and pointed it at the sky. The exclamations and exclamations that were erupting in the middle quick.